so many of us, we want relationships, and I'm sure a lot of people come to your office.
I love love. That's my favorite
The
thing.
sanctuary. They come to the
Yes,
sanctuary.
you know. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they come to the sanctuary to lay their burdens down.
Come on.
And
Give 'em to
often
me. Give
they
'em to me.
want relationship.
Yeah, we
and
all
they
want relationship.
and they want them to, they want to walk into a healthy relationship.
Yes, but
What's
so
the first
unhealthy.
thing?
You got to heal yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to recognize that every single thing you're doing in your life is relationship. I like to help put it in context for folks, because literally relationship by definition is just how one thing interacts with another. And so in order to understand relationship, you have to start with you. What is my relationship with you?
Yeah.
What is my relationship with my money? What is my relationship with my food? What is my relationship with my kids, my coworker? So when you can understand that everything is how one thing is interacting with another, then you can start to ask yourself, what is the way that you interact with the thing that you want to be in the most intimate form of relationship with? And a lot of that is the core beliefs that mess people up that they don't even know that they have.
Like what?
If it's about, let's see, I want to be in relationship with a man, but I don't trust men. Men aren't really faithful. I ain't never seen a man really be faithful. All men cheat.
Yeah.
Let me stay out of his phone because I don't really want to go looking, because you know what they say. Don't go looking unless you want to find something.
Yeah.
As opposed to, if you weren't doing anything to begin with, it don't matter how many times I go looking, there's nothing that's going to be there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the trauma either in this relationship that's causing me to be suspicious, or what I've experienced before that causes me not to trust now. Right? It's like, how do we begin to understand what we truly believe about who and what we're trying to be in relationships with?
Yeah.
That's important. And so it's like, how do you increase your awareness so then you can also increase your presence? And how do you recognize that there's a difference between compatibility and chemistry? Most of us are choosing people that we have high chemistry with, but we're not compatible to be in long-term relationships with, and then we're devastated.
Yeah.
So we don't understand. I'm dating to find my husband. He was just dating to do something fun. Why isn't this thing working?
Yeah.
Well, you weren't compatible to begin with in your search. Or somebody who says, I'm not looking for love, but I'm not going to run from it unless, if I find it, then cool. You don't want to have to convince anybody that you're the one. You want somebody who's at the same place, looking with the same intention as you. But we've never learned how to do relationship. We don't know how to work through relationship. We don't know how to communicate effectively. We don't know how to show up vulnerably. We don't even want to show up vulnerably.
Yeah.
But I want you to give me an experience, not recognizing it's my job to give myself that experience and choose somebody who wants the same experience as me, so that we're creating that together.
Yeah.
Right? Like we don't know how to do it.
Yeah. We don't know how to do it. Are there some things that when people come into your practice, that when we talk about unlearning some things about relationships, right? So maybe we've believed for such a long time that relationships are supposed to look like this.
Yeah.
They're supposed to function like this.
Yeah.
My parents have been married for 40 plus years, and this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so what is that unlearning process of how to create something healthy for you and not something that you've just seen?
So I think a huge part of the problem, and it's funny because I never thought about it until you were just saying it like that, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That a huge part of the problem is that we learn about relationships backwards. And so then we are trying to do relationships like what happened in the generation before us, trying to do that in the now, and that no longer exists.
Yeah.
So we may try to date like our parents try to date like their parents.
Yeah.
So you will have men nowadays, for example, who say, I want a woman like my grandma.
Right.
My grandma who used to keep the house all day, manage the kids,
She
do all the
cooked
things.
every day, neck bones and collard greens and cornbread every day.
From scratch. From
every
scratch.
day.
Don't bring a box, right?
Yeah.
But here we are in 2024 where that's not realistic, because it takes two of you to work outside of the home. So you might want a woman like your grandma, but you don't want to be a man like your grandpa.
Oh, wait a minute.
Right?
Don't let me run. Don't let me run, Dr. Spirits. Don't let me take off with my tambourine.
But it's true. It's true. And we don't see ourselves, right? We see
Yeah.
the other person. So then when a woman comes at you and says, okay, so are you willing to have this house? Are you willing to pay these bills? He's like, now hold on now, because I can't do that. And
50
that's the
50.
reality, right? 50-50, and you keep your account and I'm going to keep mine, and the two shall never meet. And don't worry about what I got in this account, and don't worry where I'm spending it, right?
Yeah.
So that's not how our grandparents did it.
Yeah.
That's not how it worked. And the world that we live in now doesn't work that way. And then we get into our parents' generation, right? The baby boomers. A lot of them got divorced. And a lot of them also got the message from their grandparents, the silent generation, where the women said, listen, don't you be like me. Don't you get caught up. Don't you have no bunch of babies, so
Yeah.
you got to stay with
Yeah.
this man. Don't you let him
Yeah.
pull the purse strings so that he's making the money and you got to stay stuck here. You go get your education.
Yeah.
You go get your financial independence.
Yeah.
Don't have any children. And so here we are now.
Yeah.
All caught up because we don't
Yeah.
know what to think and what
Yeah.
to believe. We want relationships that have the quantity, the years on them, but we don't understand the poor quality that came in those relationships, or worse, we do. So now we no longer believe in love. So
Yeah.
now we're choosing different dynamics in the
Yeah.
relationship that are also affecting our children, because our children are watching us do relationship.
Yeah.
And it's all just off kilter. And we don't understand. So even now, when you have women, people don't recognize. Most women go, oh my gosh, I didn't get married in my 20s. I didn't get married in my 30s. It's over for me. But the data tells us that more women are getting married in their late 40s for the first time
Come on,
ever.
church.
Come
it
on.
gets greater later.
Come on. Bevy said it now.
Debbie
Come on,
said
Sister
it.
B.
Come on. Listen, Auntie Bev let y'all
Come on.
know.
And the data is telling us that,
Yeah.
right? But as a society, we don't recognize it. So we are looking at old messaging. If I haven't gotten married in my 20s, if I haven't had children before my 30s, I'm old. But that is not what is real. So now the younger folks will look at what we're going through now and try to date according to all the norms, all the information, all the data. So instead of us being present to say, let's talk about the life that I want to experience, and to hell with what everybody else is doing. Let me and you come into relationship, and whatever works for how we rock is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
If more people could recognize that their relationship is a footprint or a fingerprint or a snowflake, you don't have to look to the left to see what they're doing. You don't have to look to the right to see what they're doing. But what do you want to experience? How do you want it to rock? And what are you going to have to do to create that? That is where the success is.
Yeah.
You know, I love to say, for my husband and I, it is like the sleepover with my best friend every night. And that's what I want. And that is the energy that we come with, right? And like, if you knew that your best friend was going to sleep over this weekend, how would you feel all week long?
Yeah.
What would you do? What would you say? I'm going to buy this.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
do this. And then we're
Yeah.
going to eat this,
Yeah.
right? If you thought about that as that's the kind of relationship that makes you happy, then what energy would you put in that? How would you nurture it? How would you move? How would you think? And also, what would it give you in return, in your quality of life, in your quality of experiences, in the quality of your health, physically and mentally? So that is what we have to teach people. What does relationship look like for you? Not the one you're in, not the one you're not in, but the one you desire to be in. And then what is it going to take to deliver you there and nurture and keep you there for a lifetime? That's how we get there.
Doc, this is so good. I feel like I'm going to put it out there. She's coming back, y'all.